Man, what a wonderful Monday night. The best barbecue show of all times is on Monday night, Chewin the BBQ Fat. I'm glad everybody's on watching it. Looking forward to our discussions. And we also get to talk about another great barbecue show coming on BBQ USA. What an awesome show that's been. What a great show it was last week. Looking forward to the show tonight. I know a lot of people have already seen it. I'm one of those guys that likes to wait and watch it on TV. So I'm going to watch tonight on Food Network. But what a show it was last week. I'm super excited. Got a lot going on tonight. But real quick, man, the points chasing KCBS is hot and heavy and crazy. A lot of stuff has been going on, a lot of changes. Man, get on board, watch this points chase. There's a lot going on, and these guys are all about it. What's up, Bearded Monkey? How you doing? Good to see you. Good luck this weekend in Savannah. If you're going to Savannah, Georgia, and you need an order, go ahead and get that order in by Wednesday, and it will have it delivered there to you. But make sure you get in there by Wednesday at noon. What's up, Brent? How you doing, bud? But guys, I tell you what, I'm so excited. I watched the show last week. I'm like, man, I got to get Bill on. And then I want to see if I can't get Brad and Fred to talk about the trash talking going on. And Corey, I couldn't get in touch with him. So we'll work with that later. But it's going to be a great show tonight. I'm really excited to bring them all on, and I can't wait to hear the trash talking and what it was like behind the scenes. So bring all your questions, get ready, and we're going to go after it with these guys. Trey Terry, who, if you watch the show tonight, will be delivering products. And from what I understand, he's going to be on there. Someone needs to introduce Michael Simon to the Boudin Hot Pocket. There you go. I'm sure Bill could probably get in on that. So here we go. All right, I'm going to bring on my man Brad. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Good.
Good to see you. We got Bill. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing great, man. How are you guys?
Oh, just excited. And Fred, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
A bunch of movie stars over here. It's just famous people.
I was hoping they'd cut me out of it.
Brad, are you on? I don't see you on the screen, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
So tell me a little bit about it. What was the show like for y'all? I know, Brad, you've done a lot of different videos and a lot of different things with the barbecue league and everything else. And Bill and Fred, y'all are all over barbecue stuff. How different was this than anything else you've done in barbecue? Brad, I'll let you start.
Oh, no. I mean, they were very respectful. I mean, they let us do our stuff. It was pretty I mean, I've probably done more of the filming while I'm cooking than most people have, but it went pretty smooth, man. I mean, you're sitting there talking. Of course, you're always trying to, I tried some things that I wouldn't have tried. And of course, and I think the way they edited that, everybody knows I love and respect Fred, and that came on there. But I was like, man, I'm going to give him a show. I was like, it kind of gets boring. I mean, my thing is on these shows like Pitmasters and everything else. I mean, how many times do you watch, 5 fat guys turn in 4 meats, right? So I was like, all right. So I manufactured some kind of brisket rivalry with me and Fred, and as it turns out, we tied. We're equally at brisket. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, it really. Michael's gracious. He's honestly one of the easiest guys to talk to when you're sitting there talking about barbecue that I've filmed with. I mean, he's really, really easygoing, and it was a good time, man. I had a blast right up until pork. I was having a hell of a time. I had a great time. About pork, it fell off. The experience went downhill just a little bit. But no, it's a great time. I'd love to do it again. That's
awesome. Fred, what do you think?
Man, I'll be honest with you, and Bill is probably one of the guys who knows it. I really didn't want to do the show. I was dragging my feet on getting stuff in. It's just not my style. I've always wanted to be known as the guy who competes and does well, and that's it. But, in talking to some people, and I got the rubs out now, and it just helps the brand and helps business. And so I went ahead and did it. And I told Bill after the show, I said, man, I'm real happy that I did do it. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I know we talk trash on the show, and I respect the heck out of these guys, the heck out of Brad. I think he's one of the best cooks out there, and so is Bill. And, to be able to do what we do in barbecue on any given weekend, and to have it, documented is pretty cool to me. To be able to look up at it, a year later, 2 years later, and it's going to be there. I'm sure there'll be reruns going for years and years and years. And it's really cool. They pretty much stayed out of your way. To me, it was more, I'm talking to myself while they're filming, really, and it's just stuff that's going on in my head. And then they, just Brad did an excellent job of bringing the rivalry to it, and just making it entertaining and fun. And it was a blast, man. We absolutely had a heck of a time doing it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Michael Simon, like Brad said, is pretty easy to talk to. Not a cocky guy, not arrogant, none of those things. So really enjoyed it. The camera crew made it super simple to be able to do what we do, man, and just pretty much get out of our way and let us do competition barbecue. I never did. To me, it was more of like, am I going to feel pressured? Are they going to be in my way when I'm trying to do certain things or getting the boxes done? And no, not at all, man. They were really respectful of your time. And it was a really neat experience. And for anybody who ever gets the opportunity to do something like this, man, I thoroughly encourage them to do it.
That's awesome. So Bill, while they had their rivalry going on back and forth between who was going to win and who was going to be the best, you went there and smoked them. So tell me a little bit about what you had going on there, Bill.
Man, I don't know if I smoked them, but I definitely, me and Brad had talked early before, like maybe a week or two before, me and Brad were talking, and I got to give a lot of credit to Brad because I think he made the episode. I think he made it really entertaining with the brisket smack talking. And he had told me, hey, Bill, see if you can get the promoter to get us all together. So we were all right there together, which made it really easy for, you see clips in the show where, Fred's talking to Corey. We're all right next to each other. So, and Brad wanted to make some, he had the most experience with all of this. He said, man, let's just make some interesting TV as opposed to just kind of a boring documentary, So, the brisket, smack talk, which with respect, I think it made the episode really, really good. And the same as these guys, Michael Simon, super easy to talk to. And he wasn't there, he was there quite a bit, but it wasn't like he was all up in your business. You know what I mean? He stayed out of the way, popped into my trailer, tried this, tried that. And the cameramen's as well. They were, there was no pressure for me to make them look at a box. If I was there, I was closing my box and the camera was there, they got to see it. If they didn't see it, they weren't, there was no pressure, as far as reenacting any kind of things or, it was all very natural. So it felt like a normal cook to me. It's just that every once in a while I'd have a cameraman on me that I'd have to jaw jack to. So
I know a lot of people are asking, and this is something that's going on. Brad, do you normally like trash talking or having that camaraderie going back and forth at a contest?
Man, these guys all know I do. I mean, that's what the fun thing about it. Like Fred will make, breakfast tacos and we'll sit there and talk shit the whole time that's going on. And that's just part. I mean, people that know me and that are friends with me that I cook with, like Fred and I cook with Bill a lot. And I cook with Corey a lot. And all of us are we cook against each other several times a year. We're close to each other, same events, and we're all accomplished. So we all have our egos and we do all talk. And I'm like, man, that's the TV show. I mean, TV show isn't, that's turning in for me. So the TV show is us sitting around there and we do it respectfully and we have fun with it. But yeah, man, I mean, I didn't even know how to talk to Joe Pierce anymore without talking trash. We'd be sitting there talking business and I'm just sitting there throwing things. I'm Joe. I'm sorry. I can't even stop. Like I'm sitting here, I'll be lying about how my day was at work and stuff because I'm usually lying about my food. And I just don't know how else to interact. But yeah, so much fun. Tim and I would do that. If anybody's taking Tim and I's class, man, that's part of it. We sit there and make fun of each other constantly. And it's in fun. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, and I even told the producers this. I said, all right, I'm going to throw myself out there. And I said, I'm either going to come out looking like, I'm awesome or I'm going to crash and burn. But either way, it's going to be great TV. And I crashed and burned, of course. But man, I had fun. And the cool thing is we got a couple other episodes coming up where I wasn't filmed, but we got the big trophy at the end of the day in the Memphis and May episode. I do pretty good in tonight's episode. So I'm glad that I got to go to other events where the cameras were on, where I could look like I knew what the hell I was doing. Because don't do pork steaks. Learn that lesson the hard way. But no, man, our interactions, that's the cool thing, man. That's stuff we'd be saying to each other anyway. You know, with Fred was there, you know, we'd be talking about brisket and who's going to win it and this and that and the other. That's just how we are when we're at the contest. I mean, it's just the fun of it.
And you know, that's what I love that this show was able to do. It was able to, because I've been to contests with all y'all, and it is true. Like at Sip and Swine, you and Schaefer were going back and forth, right? And you know, and Brian Payton, like a lot of y'all are going back and forth, and that's really and truly what it's like at a contest. So I was really glad that it was. Yes, we all go to contests and we all cook, but there's so much more inside of a contest. And to me, the show is doing a really good job of showing what it's like when you go to a contest, because you're there for a long time, right? Like, I mean, we're there for all weekend, and there's so much that goes on other than just turning in the food. So I think it's cool. Bill, what were your, like, what's your overall thoughts on all that? Is that something that you get into too?
I thought we were real fortunate, you know, because man, I was in two of them, you know, and obviously I'm in the one tonight, and I think we're real fortunate in Texas that all of us knew each other really well, and we were all right there together. The one in Alabama, we were spread apart. So Smoking Sweetmeats was on the complete other end of the park, so there wasn't any interaction. But, you know, like I said, I think our show, this one, there's a lot more interaction between the two teams where, man, I didn't know some of those teams. I knew who they were. I'd heard their team names, but, you know, I hadn't actually met them personally until after the episode, or after the, you know, once they were done with awards, then I actually met, you know, a couple of the teams. So.
And I think they've done a good job, because every show has kind of been different, right? Like every one of them's had a different feel to it.
Yeah.
And I think every one of them has done a good job in showing something different in barbecue. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing plays out, and like what all is talked about, and how else they maneuver all this, because there's a lot that goes on at a contest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing about it. You know, I mean, like I was saying, there's only so much you can show about what we do, right? We do, like, I've cooked 300 some contests. It's just, and if I'm doing it right, I'm doing the exact same thing every week. I mean, it bores myself, let alone somebody watching TV. How many times you get to tune in on that? So I think it's important if this is going to be sustainable, and hopefully, you know, the producers and Michael and everybody else know, man, that you got to get into the stories behind it. You know, like you were talking about the point chase and the lead up, man. I mean, you've got to get into the stories behind it, and I think, you know, I personally thought, and what's funny is other than that contest, I've been killing brisket in Texas. Like, you know, I got a call in Houston, then, you know, that I've gotten in the only CDA, the only call I can get is brisket. And I go down there in KCBS and like roll over and piss in the air. And it's I'm like, well, maybe safe. I can come down there. Surely I
wasn't going to say that.
Surely I can do that. And so, you know, I just kind of try to come up with, you know, and it's like, who was the football team that went into Dallas and they stomped all over the Dallas Star? And then they end up getting their asses kicked. That's pretty much
San Francisco.
Yeah, I did the barbecue equivalent of that, I think. So
don't talk about Fred's team. You know.
Oh,
whoa. Slow down, boys. Slow down.
Oh man! All right, so we got a lot going on, and Bill, I know the duck fat thing has blown up in barbecue, right? Like, I mean, duck fat has been. I think a lot of people have used duck fat. I think it's been around. We sell duck fat. It's there. But the duck fat thing, for you, can you talk a little bit about the whole duck fat? Well, let me back up. Does Michael? I heard that Michael Simon has a barbecue restaurant. Is that true?
Man, I think he's got a couple of them. I think he's got maybe one in Vegas and one in Cleveland, I think.
Okay, so he's got that whole barbecue thing going down, and he goes to a contest, and he's learning stuff, right? Like, he's learning a lot about barbecue. But just watching him with the duck fat thing was awesome. It was awesome to see. And then, Bill, we were talking earlier today, and you said that on the Today Show, or some show this morning, that he was talking about that. Tell a little bit about that, how all this stuff.
Well, I mean, granted, I've got my own seasoning, my own little, you know, Texas rib grind. So I've spent a fair amount of time talking to Michael about it. But, man, none of that stuff made the show. For whatever reason, they dialed in on duck fat. And they had told me, you know, the producer said, man, we're going to shoot like, I don't know, 200 hours of footage, and they've got to trim it down to 43 minutes. So there's no telling what was going on. So I had no idea as far as, man, it's just part of my process. It's on my cans. I put it on the top of my cans just to keep it warm, because it, you know, it'll spray better if it's warm. And, man, he dialed in on it. And, I'm going to talk. If he's going to ask questions about it, I'm going to talk about it. And sure enough, Duck Fat sent me a couple of cases and asked me to be an ambassador. So it's working out well on Duck Fat for me. But
Bill's getting sponsors from the episode. I was losing sponsors from the episode.
yeah, it's losing sponsors, but I'm going to give him a can of
Snake
Duck
River
Fat.
Farms told me to get lost.
But I had a buddy of mine that I guess was watching the Kelly and Ryan show, and Michael Simon was on there this morning cooking like roasted chicken in the oven and talking about his show. And they played I guess maybe a 15-second clip of his show, and it was me and him talking about the duck fat again. I haven't seen it. People have messaged me and said, hey, I saw you on Kelly and Ryan Seacrest this morning. They played a small clip, and the clip they played was me talking to him about duck fat. So
it's amazing.
I don't know how these things happen to Bill. He always gets the front parking spot at every restaurant. The parking lot can be full, and he's like front row Joe every single time. Every time I go with him, front row Joe. And I asked him one time, "What'd you say, Bill? What is it?"
Hard work and clean living.
Hard work and clean living. There you go.
I saw Lex just showed up on here. I want full disclosure. I told the producer in Alabama that they screwed up, and I was like, how do you come to Alabama and not film Smoke Me Silly? I just stunned. And,
man, when they interviewed me, they asked me who do I think could win it, and I said Smoke Me Silly is between Smoke Me Silly and Brad, those are probably the two strongest teams, And they said, Brad, who,
Exactly. I told him twice. We were walking around Memphis, they didn't know who it was. I said, yeah, you're not filming us today, man. You screwed up again. You screwed up in Alabama. You screwed up again. He's like, who are you? I was like, I just kept on walking.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I think it's really cool barbecue being a spotlight. And I was talking to Robert and I was like, man, go win this thing since y'all didn't get it. And sure enough, they did. And I didn't hear like Bill was telling me the story about how when y'all all pulled up to Gadsden, he didn't know he was going to be on it. I guess all y'all were up there, and then you show up, and they just said they didn't even say anything to you, right, Brad? You just
yeah, no, I was like I had leprosy or something, man.
I'm
standing there talking to Phil. I'm talking to Bill, and we're just sitting there talking, and then Karen, her name's Karen, she Karen me many times about my music being so bad. I cooked angry that day, but she comes up there and mics up Phil, mics up Bill, and I'm sitting there. It's like, you're making a mistake, Karen. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, and she walks up. The three of us are sitting there bullshitting, and she walks up and is like, "All right, Phil, Bill, let's rinse and repeat, and I'll be back with the mics or whatever." And Brad's standing there. I'm like, "Oh no, here he goes. He's gonna win the damn thing."
I got Smoke Me Silly again.
Yeah.
It was fun, man. And the funny story about all this is the whole reason I signed up for Texas and Alabama in the first place is because they were going through who was going to be in Olathe. And I'm sitting there and I didn't know like how they were selecting stuff or whatever, right? Like they were looking at the old lists and they were going through and who was there and I never really cooked that contest. I'm always on vacation that time, but I got a pretty big chip on. I mean, I like to manufacture chips. Everybody who knows that knows me. Like that keeps my, like the deal we were talking about earlier with that show in Texas. Yeah, I like to just manufacture. Like I don't really have anything bad happening in my life, but I like to make stuff up just to keep my edge. And I'm like how on earth do they film a competition barbecue show and they don't and I'm not going to be on it. And so I went down there and signed up for Texas. I signed up for Alabama and I signed up for all these because I'm like, fuck, I said, they're not going to put me on there. I'm going to go win every one of these things. and as soon as I signed up for Texas, they called me and everything. And then I was like, oh, well, I can't be mad anymore. And that's probably why I lost to Texas. But, so then that day in Alabama, then that gave me my chip for the day.
Now you're back.
I kept on turning my music up and Karen would come over there and be like, can you turn that down?
Bill again. And as soon as brisket turns in, he's like, I'm out of here. Good luck.
I was wondering why they didn't catch you at the end. I saw the show earlier. I said, man, they didn't even put a camera on Brad after he reserved the thing, but you were gone, I guess.
No, I wasn't even anywhere. I was on, and if I remember right, those awards, I think I was through Memphis before those awards were done. That's how a significant, like 4 or 5 hours away that I was before. So I was pretty happy I was gone. But yeah, no, I was just like, man. And what's funny is I wasn't planning on leaving, and you never really know. Like I was just pulling my truck out. I was going to put it in that big parking lot where the waterfall is and everything in there. And man, that thing was full. Like there was no place to park my truck, and I was like, all right. No. So I just turned the turn signal on and headed north.
Gotta go.
That's awesome. So I talked to, like I said, I've talked. Bill talks to everybody. He is the guy in barbecue, right? That talks to everybody, so he knows everything. I know he's added some Instagram followers and stuff. Have Fred or Brad, have any one of y'all two, anything happened since the show's been on? Because
Brad's lost followers.
Yeah, it's funny is how you pay attention to that stuff anymore. I turn that over, and so I didn't even look and see. Had a bunch of friend requests and stuff like that, but I didn't even look at my Instagram or anything like that. I don't even think I know how to log into that thing anymore.
Well, I mean, so I would say this, right? Like everybody in competition barbecue knows y'all, right? Like, I mean, it is competition barbecue. Y'all, every one of y'all are big names, right? Well, we're getting into the point now where this is a TV show where people don't necessarily know who y'all are and what's going on. To me, this is what can grow barbecue more than anything, right? Is having the people that don't know anything about competition barbecue go ahead.
No, I was going to say I've had two people. What I have had happen is I've had two different people in areas within a couple hundred miles of where I live reach out to me about holding KCBS competition. So I've had a couple of people that said, "Hey, man, I saw you on there," and they've reached out to our media account and whatever, and they're like, "Hey, I want to hold a competition." So I've got a couple calls with people about maybe getting some competitions going. So no, I agree. I think it's and I'm biased, and I know all of us on here are biased, but I thought it was hugely entertaining, and it can't help but prop up what we do, which is awesome. Which is part of the reason, like Fred was talking, part of the reason why we're doing it is to build our brands and to build what we do. Like anytime anybody cares about what we do, man, it's a good day. Like you know what I mean? I mean, that's what it's all about. Like if anybody cares about what we do, man, that's how we make it all bigger and better.
Yeah, Dave Morrow said he's going to start sending in apps again to start cooking again. So all because of y'all.
Have him cook for you when he's at the contest. That's what it's all about. Dave down there doing that. That's a positive thing.
I'll tell you what, man. I've been on a little barbecue competition. I haven't cooked much lately, and I saw the show, the one we were on, and I told Bill, I said, man, I want to go cook again now. Like I want to get out there and do it again. I've been running so hard so long that I just needed I needed a break. I really did, and I've taken this whole month off and plan on taking next month off and then get back at it. But it really is entertaining, and I've had a lot of people reach out through my social media accounts or through our business social media account and say, hey, we saw you on the show, and we enjoy barbecue and this and that, and they want to talk barbecue. But yeah, the followers have grown. You look on my Instagram and it's all little blue squares or blue little ovals on the side, which those are the people who started following you. So it's pretty cool to know that people are watching, man. I don't know how the ratings have been on any of these shows. I don't keep up with that stuff, but hopefully they're getting good ratings. Hopefully it's something that's it can only be good for barbecue, and if it's good for barbecue, it's good for all sanctioning bodies. It's good for guys like me and Bill who sell rubs. It's good for the barbecue league. It's good for your store, Brian. It's a trickle down effect.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for everybody, even all the way down to the pit builders and charcoal and everybody, man. So it's good for the sport, and it's something that we all love to do, obviously, or else we wouldn't even be here talking about it. So it helps us continue to get out there and promote the sport of barbecue and this love that we have for burning meat in a parking lot with a bunch of our buddies, right?
That's what it's all about, right? Yeah. Brad Pont said that y'all need to get the Shepherd of the Hills comp back. I don't know which one that is, but
it was in Branson, man, and it's a beautiful place. So yeah, I'd love to get some Branson competitions back going. So it's a challenging environment right now. Everybody knows that, and I mean, the way to get more contests, get more people cooking. There's there's probably only 50 people out there cooking, man. Get some more other Texans. You guys are cooking all the time, but up here, it's a hard sell right now to do contests. So hopefully, costs get contained, and maybe this spawns the next generation. I know that I started, my first contest was 2012, And I used to sit there, Michael. Anybody knows Michael, my brother-in-law, man. We sit there and watch Pitmat, man. We still quote Johnny Trigg. Like I was in vacation to Mexico with Tim, and we quoted Johnny Trigg from Pitmasters the whole time. Like, well, he's into the alcohol, and I have fire in my eyes. You know, I'm sitting there, the whole time we're in the pool, and Tim come up and I said, "Don't you touch me." Doing old Johnny Trigg Pitmaster quotes. So, I mean, that had a tremendous impact. I mean, obviously on my life. I mean, it completely changed that TV show, completely changed the trajectory of my life and got me into competition barbecue. And Fred and Bill and I and Corey, I don't know, Corey didn't make the invite list. I guess, I think he messed up. But anyway, but if we had that impact on the next group of people, man, I mean, what a blessing that would be. I mean, if somebody ends up with a barbecue career like mine because they watch me on TV, I'll never know about it. But man, that's what it's all about, and that'd be truly cool and humbling.
Yeah, I mean, and the only way to do it is to get this out there, get the show out there as much as possible to as many people as and let them all watch it. And it's been entertaining. So as long as it stays entertaining, that's going to be helpful. So what all do y'all have going on in barbecue now? I know Fred, you said you've been off for a while. Brad, I know you've been cruising the world. What all do y'all have going on in your barbecue lives moving forward here soon?
I'm basically just staying local. I won't do a KCBS probably until the Royal. Diesel's been, the cost of diesel is just so much, and us being down here in Texas. So most of my, it'll be CBAs that I'm really trying to dial in and cook on. And, I can usually find one every, just about every weekend within a couple of hours from the house. So, I'm not really chasing points in, any sanctioning body. I'm cooking some IBCAs, some CBAs. I think this weekend I may go cook a Lone Star. There's happens to be a CBA this weekend, so I may go do a Lone Star and it'll because in Texas we've just got there's so many cook-offs. There's just no need for me to drive all the way to Alamosa. Alamosa's this weekend. I don't know if Brad, are you going to Alamosa or no?
Yeah, man, I think I'm gonna go out there. It's a long ways, but it was pretty good to me last year. So yeah. It's hard not to, Yeah, it's a great comp. If anybody gets a chance to go out there, I know. I haven't lost to Colorado in like 5 years. So anytime I can get out there and cook, man, I'm gonna go out there. I love it. And
I had an entry for Alamos. I think somebody mentioned that I was going to be there, but no, I had an entry last year. I'd paid to go, but my trailer had light issues the day before I was supposed to leave, so I had to get my trailer lights fixed, so I couldn't go. And they rolled it to me, and I was in Merval, and Johnny Trigg's like, "Oh, you're coming to Alamosa. You're on the team list." Man, I forgot all about it. They rolled it over, so I said, "No, Johnny, I won't be there, man. I'm not driving, spending $800 in diesel to go lose to Brad. You know what I mean?" So
I don't know, man. I think Triple H is out there. Travis is kind of starting to creep back out of retirement a little bit. Bought himself a new trailer, brand new truck.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not going to be an easy contest this weekend. That's for sure. I mean, there's a lot of good cooks that are heading out there. A lot of them hit Dodge, and then they went on out to Alamosa. So
that's what Bill, my buddy Bill, Triple H. He's cooking. He's ready to win this weekend. So
good, man, there's some new guys, man. Bill's one of them. Janky's jankying.
Yeah.
He's cooking really well, man. There's a lot, and the guy Uncle Pig out there in out east,
Jersey.
Blues, man. It's crazy. It's good. It's fun watching. It's cool because I've been in the chase for so long, man. It's kind of cool to sit back and talk to some of these guys and give advice. Talk to Chris or whatever. Be like, what would you do? And I'm not, I'm like, sitting there kind of strategizing and everything else. So it'd be interesting to see, if Uncle Pig ends up winning, who wants it? If anybody goes out east and tries to put up a roadblock for him. Because he's certainly cracked the code out there, man, and Southern Dutch, man. I mean, the European team going to win it, man. And even last year they just didn't have. But I don't know how many contests they get, but it is kind of different for me to be able to sit back and watch. But to answer your question, I'm going to cook, man. I mean, that's but I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to get up and ready for the big ones. Ready for the Jack, ready for the Royal. Probably head back down to the site of tonight's episode to try to cook the KCBS.
And I know you won't cook Georgia for some reason, but you're already going to be.
There's not any contest in Georgia. Otherwise, I'd show up, man. There's nothing on the KCBS website. Otherwise, I'd go.
Well, after that, there's the Land of Barbecue Store Classic is the week after the KCBS Invitational. Just come on over.
I may do it. I got some. Here's the thing. After Georgia beatdowns age, like my ego, like my cockiness builds up, and there's like an inflection point there where the Brad thinks he can wins in Georgia passes the memory of the last ass kicking. And I go to Georgia again, and then it flops back down. So you just got to let it build back up because it's coming up. I'm sitting here thinking right now, like for the first time in several months, I'm like, man, I might be able to win in Georgia, and we all know I can't, but I like it. So
I heard they like pork steaks in Georgia.
The funny thing is, and I did those, but I didn't even turn them in. Like, I had a couple people caught that saw the box just barely, and I didn't even turn. I chickened out. I probably should have turned the damn things in because I got. It was like, what would you get? I got like 158 or something. I mean, that's really what killed me. It wasn't brisket, and I should have. I mean, I couldn't have done any worse than what I did with my mobile box. Man, they hated my work.
So is pork steaks a thing? Like, is that still going on, or is that out, or what? I mean. It is now that you posted about it last week, or that you cooked them. I'm sure everybody's trying to cook them now.
I don't know, man. I mean, they're really good if you can time them right. It just takes some more work. They tighten up really fast. You got to hit them right. And I think unfortunately, like they don't hold very well, and so they're more of a timing meat, and that makes it difficult to do,
especially in pork with that later category.
And pork's, everybody, I mean, people can cook pork, man. Getting a pork turn is not that hard. So you take a big risk in that category.
Darren says pork steaks rule.
Yeah. So, Darren's got to win with them, man. He knows. He was an early adopter. I think he went down there. Him and the Teddy Camp crew went down to Florida, like one of the first contests after the rule was changed. They went down there and got a pork win. So he's a guy. Maybe Darren wore pork steak tell all in the barbecue league.
Darren cooked pork steak at World Food in Alabama that one year.
He did, man. That's been years ago.
And he walked with it. Yeah.
You're right. I remember that.
It's crazy. Man, so I know, and I kind of wanted to talk about this. It's not part of the show, but you mentioned it a little bit, Brad, but the points chase going on right now. This seems to be one of the tighter points chases, and it's changing every week. What do you think's happening? Is it tighter than it's been in the past? Or because I feel like in the past it's been a 2 or 3 man show that's ran away with it. This year there's like 10 people I feel like that are in the middle of it chasing. I mean, Brad, you're still on the.
I'm not in it, man. I'm not cooking. I mean, nobody's stepping up. Like nobody's getting the wins going out. You're right. There's 2, and I just think I think there's a lot of good cooks out there right now. I mean, I think classes, barbecue league, everything's caught up, and people that are doing it now are pretty serious about it, man. I mean, if you're going to go put $2,000 for a weekend, man, you're going to give it your best shot. There's not as many field fillers running around out there, and I think it's harder to win right now than it's ever been, honestly. So I think you've seen a lot of guys with that 4 or 5, 6 win range, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that can win. I mean. I don't know if anybody get to 10 this year. That's the interesting thing. And then you factor in where you used to be pretty easy. You could go run and you try to find max point contests. Well, you can't find max point contests. So it's probably going to come down to somebody that's got 8. Like that might be 3 or 4 teams that have 8 wins. And then you got to start stacking. Okay, do they have max point RGCs? And then you got to start stacking how big those wins were. And it's really going to matter. And it's really hard to if you're chasing, anybody's listening to my advice, if you can find a max point contest somewhere on a weekend, go cook it because you're just not going to get them anywhere else. And those bonus points are going to decide it at the end of the year.
Yeah. It seems like that's what the Southern Dutch team, they're up there, but I don't think they have many max points or anything. So
small contest.
Yeah. Fred, are you following any of it? Bill, y'all following?
I looked at, I haven't cooked a KCBS other than Cedar Park, which is the one that was on the show and this whole year. I haven't cooked as much as I have in the past. Like I said, I've kind of I slowed down this year and just trying to get our other business off the ground and I've been at South Padre Island all month. So just hanging out at the island, just really doing a whole lot of nothing, hanging out with the family and the kids and stuff. So, but really enjoying it. But I did look at KCBS contest just because I'm going to get back going here probably September sometime and just kind of looking at schedules and stuff. And I did see that the points chase was tight. It seems to me that it's points as far as points go, it seems tighter than in previous years. And like you said, it's usually been a 2 or 3 man, running away with it and just kind of that little pack staying together. Right now, it's from 1st through 10th. There's not a whole lot of room there. So I don't know if it has to do with maybe some of these teams are cooking less, or just because of the economy and the challenges that they're presenting themselves right now, or like Brad said, there's no max point contest. Probably before the same reason that there's a lot of teams that aren't cooking. I'm on a group thread with a bunch of my buddies that are barbecue guys down here in Texas, and it seems like every week you see a Jambo go up for sale or another trailer go up for sale, and a lot of guys are getting rid of equipment, man, and it's not good. It's not good for barbecue, and a lot of that has to do with the finances. We all know it costs money to get out there, but one of my things in CBA is like, what can we do to try to curb that, right? What can we do as a sanctioning body to try to get more cooks involved, to try to get the younger guys coming up that have always been interested in barbecue but are just too afraid or don't have the finances or don't have the sponsorships to go out there and compete? What can we do to get those guys excited? I think Brad and the Barbecue League has done a pretty good job at trying to. For $100, the information you get on there is pretty damn good, man. You see stuff. Chicken Fried's got a video coming up here pretty quick
tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
I had to get home first, but yeah, man, it's good.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get back to Texas. Now we get a chicken call. Chicken fried call.
The chicken fried call. So yeah, it's definitely interesting the dynamic of how things are working out with the points chase right now, and on any other year I might have, you see points like that right now, you might want to jump in, and if you've got a couple wins under you, you never know. It's a long season, you never know what can happen. Joe's pulled off three GCs in a row here to get a 7.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like, if you watch it every week. The past 3 weeks, it's been all over the place. Like, Joe was down in like 8th or 9th, I feel like, and now he's in 2nd. It is – Uncle Pigs wasn't even in there, and now all of a sudden they're 1 – like, they were 2, now 1. It is a whole – like, it's just fun to watch every week. Every Monday I go in there because I'm sure y'all know as soon as awards are over who's done what, right? Mm-hmm. But I wait till Monday and I go in there and see it being updated. I'm like, oh, look at there. This is pretty cool. It's changing every Monday. It's something completely different. But I'm sure CBA are y'all seeing the same thing with the tight races there too, and different people, or is somebody pulling away with it?
Yeah, they're pretty tight. Last year I think Robert kind of ran away with it. Robert Smith did, but this year, there's a lot of other guys that are cooking and are cooking good right now. It's interesting to watch those points chases, and you get into the categories, into chicken and brisket and ribs and pork, and that's a whole nother. There's teams that aren't in the overall, but they're vying for points in brisket or what have you. So that's in a whole nother dynamic, which is always.
Brad's going after that. Brad's going to go down there and try to.
That's the frustrating thing. I'm good at brisket, and nobody would know that though. The rest of the world.
Brad, I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm actually okay at cooking a brisket, and
Brad, look at yourself in the mirror and say, "I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
I'm as good as Fred at cooking a brisket."
That was the whole point, right?
People like me.
Well, that was the only silver lining. I was pretty mad, getting ready to pull out of there and doing the interviews, and then I found out I at least tied Fred and brisket. I'm like, oh. And there was a bunch of us, and I think Phil was right there with us. And there
was a big tie, yeah. There was
we might have had the same table. Like there was one table that was giving out the same scores. Like I can't remember exactly, but it's kind of funny because you're looking at it, you're like, man, everybody kind of hit the same table and got the same score, and that's just what those guys were writing down. 989 or whatever it was, man. And
I'm thinking Michael Simon and the show paid off KCBS to make it made for. There's no way I could tie with Brad for brisket.
There's no way that you and I didn't go 1-2 in brisket.
There's no way. There's no way.
Certainly, it was certainly
no way.
It's still going on. I love it. So that all right. So Brad, you just mentioned something I got to ask. Like that, like it appears like you just said that you can't cook. Well, you can cook brisket, but you didn't get it right. Like, is that eating at you that you're out there like, hey, watch this?
Man, there's nothing you can do about it, right? I learned a long time ago in this game, man. You can't sit there and I'm blessed, to be on the show in the first place, and to get the airtime I got through sheer idiocy, but ended up getting it. it's certainly going to help business, and it's certainly mission accomplished on that. So yeah, always good to compete, but and to win. You always want to win in those big moments, but man, it's completely out of my control, and that's one thing, man, that just control what you can control, and there's no reason to lose sleep over that. So it is what it is, and like you said, what am I going to trade, right? We turn around and we win Memphis, a month later, and we get that on camera. So it's it's give and take, and you just go out there. It's just a numbers game, man. It's sales. You've heard me say before. You go out there and you cook, and what happens. And if you're sitting there caught up and getting bitter or doing this, making excuses or whatever it is, man, you're a loser. Get out there, do your best stuff, get out there, and move to the next contest.
Yeah, but you still have that chip, right? That's what makes you better. That's what makes you the chip.
As soon as you lose it, man, that's when you start going, right? I mean, you've got to, and it gets harder. And Fred will tell you, man, because Fred's done everything in barbecue too. I mean, the more you get in there and the more you do, the harder it is to maintain that edge. And that's how guys get caught. And that's how younger people jump up there, because you just don't it takes a lot of work to do a barbecue contest and to do it well and to do it right.
Well, I've had this conversation with several guys, that I know have done, really well in the past, and I've been in it for years, and it's kind of like, man, have you lost that want to, and that that same drive that you once had when you were firing on all cylinders? And I felt that I feel that I've lost it at certain times, and then there's this just one thing that just sparks it up, kicks it up, and you're back at it, right? And that's what Brad was saying about. He creates an edge in his mind. Like he tries to do these things to keep himself motivated. Because at a certain point, you win, like Brad won Team of the Year twice in a row. It kind of gets old, right? It gets, just the constant traveling and doing this and doing that. We're always looking, as competitive as we are. We're always looking for new challenges, and to do that. You gotta keep at the top of your game, and sometimes it's just hard when you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and you just lose the drive and you lose the focus. You settle for meats sometimes, right? You settle for, oh man, I just need 3 racks of ribs, when before you were looking through cases and cases and cases to find the perfect ones, and all of a sudden you're not. You're just, and these look all right. I can make these work.
Yep.
The devil's in the details in what we do. Everything that what did he say? Didn't Fred say winning never gets old? It doesn't get old. That part doesn't get old. But
meat selection,
digging through meat all day,
right?
Pretty quick.
At some point you don't pick the same briskets, or you might slack off and say, man, I'm not gonna trim today. I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll do it at the comp, or I'll mix my injections later. And like I was saying, the devil's in the details. A lot of the time, the guys who win are just making that simple little extra effort that sets them apart. We can all cook good barbecue now. Everybody at a contest can pretty much cook good barbecue. At the end of the day, is who makes the least mistakes, or who comes back from those mistakes. That separates a GC from a top 5 or a top 10. So it's always trying to stay fresh, trying to stay relevant. And sometimes you just need to back off and reassess things and re-energize the mind and the brain and the willpower and the courage to do it again.
Yeah. And what Fred's saying, it's not even doing it once. It's doing it every week, because you can do everything right. And you're still going to lose 2 out of 3 contests. Like I can go out there and cook out of my mind, and I'm at my best, I'm going to win 1 out of 3 contests, right? Mm-hmm. And you're still going to lose the 2 doing it. So you got to be able to back those up week after week after week. And what I always tell people is, when you cook your best, you're not going to win every contest, but you have to not make those mistakes. Prepare yourself, so when everything lines up for you on that day, you don't lose it. So when you do hit those tables, when you do hit that, when everything does line up, that you don't give away a win. And nothing's more frustrating than I can count on, on my hand when I've given away contests and I know it, and you're just like, Whistle Stop last year's one that comes to mind when you're sitting out there and I'm just like, I mushed my pork. I couldn't even hardly get money muscle in, and I lose that contest by a fraction of a point on that thing. And you're sitting there going, that's my fault. That's on me. Everything lined up for me to win that contest that day, and I gave it away. And that's what you've got to be like. That's the hard part, the middle part of these guys that are chasing. They've got to go out there and know that they're going to lose and do everything right, and they still got to go out there and do it again the next week.
I think half of the battle at winning a competition contest is between our ears. There's a big mental game that goes into this as well. It's not just how you execute the day of, but how you go into a contest thinking that you can win. If you're going into a contest thinking that Brad's there and Fred's there or Bill Purvis is there or whoever, and those guys, you're playing for second or third, you might as well stay home, because you got to go in there thinking that you're going to have the best meats available, the best, you're going to prepare the best that you can. And like what Brad says is when all those things land in your favor, when you're hitting the right tables, that you gave yourself a chance, knowing that, you prepared the way you should prepare, and did the things that you needed to do to be successful. At the end of the day, we put it in the judge's hands and hope for the best, right? But you got to give yourself a chance at least.
That's awesome. All right, real quick, we got to wrap this up. I got two questions I want to ask. One, what is the sustainability of this show? How can they make this show have a season 2, or can they? Do you see that being a possibility?
I mean, it's got to catch on with the general public. I think it's a big hit for all of us that are in the industry. And the general public has to latch onto it. And man, I don't know the ratings of what of what people are watching. So I think just like anything else, it's going to come down to the numbers. Food Network is going to look at it, and if this is getting more views or this show's getting, they'll re-air these episodes over and over and over. And they'll look, and they're trying to sell advertising dollars. So it's all about business, and numbers are going to dictate whether or not. And it's not going to be. I mean, our community is so small within the comp cooks, and we all think it's great, and I think it's great. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be: does the general public who doesn't know anything about competition barbecue, are they watching it? Do they think it's great? So we're going to have to see. I think somebody, I don't know, maybe Brad, he's kind of got an IT background. I think there's ways to, to go in and figure out, Monday Night Football gets this many viewers, the Super Bowl gets this many viewers, is there some sort of metrics to figure out what kind of viewers the show's getting? I think someone said it was watched 745,000 times or something. I don't know. I think I heard that somewhere, but I don't know if that's a big number, as far as, what does Barbecue Brawl get? Does it get that amount of viewers? So I think the numbers will be as the season unfolds, and hopefully it will. Hopefully there'll be more season.
I think our episode that we had, not again biased, but holds the key is it's not the competition. It's not the separate. It's figuring out, okay, not even necessarily who the best are or whatever, because we clearly weren't. Manuel, he said mentioned it earlier, ran it up on us. He was clearly the best.
Barbecue. Yeah.
He's just bad for TV, I guess. I don't know. I'll give you credit. It was awesome to see him win. I think that was his first KCBS win, actually. So I think everybody there was pretty pumped for him. But I think the key is finding those human elements of it, make it more reality than, because what we do is boring. It's a terrible product. I mean, that's why nobody's cooking. That's why sponsors don't want anything to do it. What we do is a terrible product, right? We're in our trailers. Everything's secretive, and we go out. Nobody follows the food through. We send a blind box into the judging, and then we sit around for 3 hours, and then we come out, and then somebody sits up there and reads names off. I mean, if you think about it, for TV, it's a horrible product. And so I think the key is to find those elements that drive the interest. And I always go back, and we're going to do, so I probably shouldn't be saying this, but this is something we're going to do with the Barbecue League next year. Is I don't know if anybody's seen the Formula One show, that Drive to Survive, and I know the PGA is getting ready to do the same thing, and they have the same problem as barbecue. Like if you ever watch Formula One, which I love Formula One now because of this, and I watch it, but it's a horrible product too. There's only 2 guys that can win the damn thing, right? Every weekend, it's like Fred Hill. There's only 2 guys that can win it, and what's going to happen, and all that they don't pass each other on the track. It's whoever gets the right pit strategy, puts the right tires on. It's literally the worst television possible, and yet this group from Netflix went out there and they found a way to make it interesting. I mean, and what they did is the races are going on. Yeah, there's a competition going on, but then they focused on, they filmed. It's like they filmed the whole season, and then they come back and say, okay, what are we going to put on? Yeah. Okay, well, this guy's struggling for a ride, or maybe it is like, hey, we're going back and forth.
Also sponsorship, exactly.
Yeah, it's this guy's getting ready to get out. Like, man, do I still have what it takes? How great of an episode would that be? We find out live on TV that Joe Pierce is going to finally quit barbecuing. I mean, that'd be awesome. But you get my point. So to make this sustainable, and I think our episode was probably the closest one of what it's going to be. They need to have those interactions and those public moments where it's giving people something to watch, other than we're turning in boxes of meat to strangers, and we come back 3 hours later, here's who won. So hopefully they get like I said, we're going to do something similar to the Barbecue League, at least try it next year, see if it can't catch on. And I do think that's where the entertainment was. Whatever those guys did, and they're getting ready to do it with the PGA Tour, and I think that's the that's where the magic's at, because that's.
Well,
that's
I think the Olympics did a great job at these past couple of ones have been a little but I think the like the Winter Olympics would always do a great job of covering the athletes' stories, right? It wasn't just about them, speed skating around an oval track and seeing who wins. It was, where did this guy come from? How did he get here? That whole side of it that ties in the human element to it, because we can't all go out there and skate on an oval track. You know what I mean?
I think I saw a picture of you figure skating at one point.
Well, I said we can't all. I said okay. I couldn't, but
Blake and I won the luge one time.
There's photographic evidence of that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
But it's always the stories behind it that make it interesting, right? That keeps the viewers coming back, or keeps them glued to the TV set and that's what the networks want. They want the ratings, they want the sponsors and everything that comes with it. So I think for a barbecue show to be successful, it's going to have to encapsulate all that. And that Netflix show on Formula One is great, man. I've been watching that since the first season, and I was never a Formula One fan now, and now I am. I wanted to go to the one here in Austin, and I couldn't make it. But anyways, but yeah, we all know Hamilton's going to win it every time, and
not anymore. He's out.
What's happening now?
Not anymore.
Every weekend doesn't matter. Last week he started from 10, still won.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to win it.
But that, the beginning of the season, Mercedes couldn't do it. Anyway, that's a whole nother.
Well, and now I realize, I'm like, God, this guy wins all the time, and I hate him for it. I'm like, God, maybe that's what. So there's a lot of people hate me. Maybe I guess it's a good thing, possibly. So,
it's very fun to. I mean, that's what I'm hoping they go back and look at it and be like, you know what, this was very entertaining. This having that. And y'all set that up, right? Like y'all did that. They didn't tell you to do that. It was something y'all did and everything else. So I'm hoping it would be. I just hope it sustains, because I think it's great, and I think it can be. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and we set that all up, and Fred and I did, and then we looked at Corey's brisket, and we're like,
no chance.
Pulled out today of all days to pull out your masterpiece, your Mona Lisa. Corey's got this brisket sitting there. We both looked over there, and Fred and I are both like.
I mean, it was blinding me. I was like,
"Oh my God, I've never seen anything like it." I go back there and I look at pictures of that brisket. I'm like, "This is what you're trying to do."
And they had to change the lighting in my porch, because of that brisket.
My goodness. Maybe he should. We need to get him to do a barbecue league tell.
Right.
Oh, he's got one. You can buy Corey stuff, can't you? He's got that.
Yeah. We got a class.
Let me get my credit card out and see if I got any swipes left for that.
Oh man, was there anything y'all want to talk about, or anything you want to say before we end up? Because the show starts here in 3 minutes, and I always say we try to get done in time. But is there anything, Brad, Fred, Bill, that you want to push or anything?
Thanks for having us, Brian. So
absolutely. So anybody's watching, get out there and cook your competition.
I will say, everybody
use your help.
Share it all. Share the show. Share every episode. We got lots of friends that don't do competition barbecue. The more that we can all share it and get people outside of competition barbecue to watch it, every episode, and it's going to get maybe more viewers, and it might be the tipping point that puts them to do a season 2 and go around and select, a whole different group of pitmasters. So
absolutely. Share social media stuff on this stuff, man. This is it, man. Let's say we get people invested in this thing is stuff like this. Like, you had a wave from pitmasters, man. Maybe let's make a wave from Barbecue USA. And truly, Michael Simon's geeked about this, man. He's talking about cooking Memphis in May next year.
Oh, really?
We get somebody like that on this deal, and be an ambassador for what we're doing. It's huge.
He's doing it right too. He went and shagged all the best cooks in the world, and documented on camera.
He missed us at Memphis, man. They came back. You'll have to watch it. I don't know. Tim did the interviews. I could, you're talking to Tim. They're like, "Oh God, we can't put this guy." But seriously, how they missed that? How do you not put that? If I may cuss here, that total shit show on TV. Who interviews that and goes, "Man, never done it before. Never making drums." Killing the hog, he probably hand killed the hog, the whole deal that's going on, and the fact that just how ridiculous the whole thing is in the first place. To me and Tim sitting there talking trash, and how they missed that, I will never. That's one thing I'll never understand. But the good thing is, if you're on the barbecue league, we have that edited and filmed too, so you're going to see that whole thing. We've got that thing from start to finish. So So that's going to come out as well. But I don't know how they missed that one.
No, I mean, especially after y'all won Shoulder the year before and up newcomers to Memphis, whatever. I mean, that's pretty. Anyway, I agree. Well, guys, thank y'all so much. Appreciate everything y'all do for barbecue as a whole, and y'all keep going out there pushing. Fred, I know you got CBA. You and Bill are really pushing CBA. Brad, you got the bar. You're into everything.
Yeah, man, love the CBA, man, too. Go cook one of them. I'm back. I'm sanctioned body agnostic here. I just get more to more.
And it's we've never really tried to make it about sanctioning bodies. It's just get out and cook barbecue, man. Wherever they're close to you, wherever you can get to. At the end of the day, it's good for everybody, man. We're all about barbecue, and that's what we do, and we're just a different option.
Have y'all expanded outside of Texas?
I think we have one sanction in Louisiana, which we haven't had yet. But yes and no.
Okay.
We've had a lot of conversations. We just don't.
I think we're talking about Georgia too. So.
Oh, that's right, Georgia.
That's it, Brad.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we've got one coming up.
Not there yet.
That's me another month, man. I'll be talking trash on. Like, oh, man, you guys can't beat me down there. Bring Myron on. Where's he at? I would like to talk to Myron again after that. We had that one show, didn't we, before Memphis?
Yeah, I was gonna.
He
I was gonna talk to you after the show, just see if you want to be if you'd be interested in that again. But
he's actually great, man. He's
that was a fun show. That was a fun show for all of us. But guys, have a great night. Y'all go watch the show. Like Bill said, share it, get it out there to as many people as you can. Do everything you can to push it, and let's see if we can't get barbecue back to where it was one day.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week on Chewin the BBQ Fat. Thank you, everybody.